Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Welcome to the live match reaction. West Bromwich Albion 0, Everton 1. Everton week of 3 wins on the spin by eking out a really, really ugly and probably quite lucky away win. But we made our own luck. We got the goal. Let's be honest, we've shit ours the win against Sam Allardyce. And I mean, how sweet does that feel, guys? Let's be honest, We've silenced Sam Allardyce and his usual tirades against Everton since we sacked them. So, what a day. And let's not forget, we haven't even touched on there, that win takes us into the top 4 as well. So, it's good all round, isn't it? We'll start with you on this one, Terry. How do you feel after that one?
Relieved.
Yeah.
We started off very badly. Like the first 55, 60 minutes, we were terrible. And I felt like we were going to do that old Everton thing of when the table opens up for you, that we just don't show up and we, shit the bed. But Carlo again, subs changed everything. Completely different team when the substitutes came on and got the win.
Definitely, and I think it was interesting because I think me and you said at the same time, more or less, in the group chat when this game starts. We both said we're not winning this because we failed the 5-minute test that we go on about all the time.
Yeah, they definitely failed the 5-minute test. The first 5 minutes, it can apply to both halves, but if you first 5 minutes of any Everton game, you know which Everton are going to turn up, and you could tell from this one that we weren't at it. We just weren't at it at all. Made this, Pickford makes that early save, and that just set the tone, and we were dreadful. But honestly, West Brom are even worse, and Big Scam is thoroughly in the mud tonight. I'm happy not just to have beaten him, but to have beaten him so cruelly. I hope he can't sleep tonight, the big orc.
You love calling him an orc, don't you?
Watch Lord of the Rings and you'll see Sam Allardyce fighting them against them. Several Sam Allardyces. It's just a big microwave-headed orc. Can't stand him. And we've just absolutely ruined his night.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone's night we wants to ruin, it was definitely him. Paul, what's your take on that game?
It's just typical Everton in the sense that if we get our noses in front away from home, you've got this confidence that we'll see it out and that we'll stay solid at the back and it'll take something spectacular for us to concede, which technically that's true because we didn't concede in the end, but I think everyone's heart was in the mouth when that happened right at the end. But I'm really, really pleased because that takes us into 4th, as we said. That'll give the players so much confidence. Ancelotti was ramming it home, wasn't he, in the days leading up to this, that even to be in 4th place just for a couple of hours, it'll do so much for this team's belief. They'll think to themselves, we're not just on a good run. This is us. This is what we are capable of on a consistent basis. And if this is what we're consistent of on a consistent basis now, imagine how good we can be in a year's time once we've improved even more. So I'm just really, really happy that we've got the 3 points. Obviously, it's great to thumb Allardyce in the eye the way we have done. And I hope basically Chelsea and Liverpool go and have a really poor draw now and keep us in 4th.
Absolutely. I think that is it. It's about trying to get a bit of consistency together, and it's not something we've done well at all this season. But 3 wins on the sprint shows a much better, a much better prospect in terms of what maybe the rest of the season has in store. Maybe we can be a bit more consistent.
3 clean sheets as well, and 3 clean sheets as well, and that was defensive football at its not at its best actually, but defensive football when it's done properly, where you take your chances when you get it, and then you don't sit back and throw every man behind the ball, because I don't think we did until maybe stoppage time, where you just do all the simple things and that no one's wasteful on the ball and no one runs down blind alleys. Whereas Allardyce would have you believe that just oofing the ball into the stand and putting every man on the goal line is the exact same as what he does and what Simeone does. No, not a chance. In the words of Allardyce himself, he just got out-tacticked and outwitted by Ancelotti completely in that second half, because when we brought Allard on and we shored up the midfield, I had confidence we were going to go on and score, because I thought all we've got to do here is just put another body in the middle and we'll pin these back in their own half. And if we do it with 20 minutes or more left in the game, we'll probably break through. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think the Allen and Sigurdsson substitutes changed the game, didn't they?
Yeah, 100%. And Ancelotti doesn't always get it right with his selections, and he clearly didn't here going with the 4-4-2 and putting Gomez in there with Takore, because I think we'll touch on the players' individual performances a bit later, but it just was really, really not working at all. And against a lot of other sides, we would have conceded and fallen behind. It's only because they're so terrible that they couldn't put one past us in that first half, especially. But as soon as we went 4-3-3, or we went three centre midfielders, I was just absolutely convinced that these are not going to break through us now. We've got a grip of the ball. They're going to seldom cross the halfway line. We've got too much quality, and as long as no one does anything stupid, we'll just pin these back in their own half, and it only takes a good ball into the box or a lucky bounce, and we'll get the goal. We've got too much quality, and they haven't. We just had to sort out our formation out a little bit, which we did.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, most of the time we didn't look threatened. Obviously, in the dying seconds, the goal gets chalked off by VAR. I'm pretty sure a lot of Everton fans probably just turned the stream off when that hit the back of the net before even. I was tempted to, I'm not going to lie. But of course, the offside flag goes up and it gets disallowed. What did you just make of the offside decision? It was right, wasn't it?
Was it? I didn't see when I watched it.
I just looked at I'm just going off the VAR thing where it looks like his toes over the line.
I looked at it and
it was. I
didn't think it was offside. I was like, oh, that's not offside.
No, I saw the original replay that wasn't from the VAR cameras and was absolutely sunk. I thought there's no chance that they're chalking this off. And then literally, I was just buzzing because the VAR showed the toe literally over the line. It was a carbon copy almost of Sadio Mane, wasn't it?
I think they're easier to swallow when it's your foot or part of your leg that crosses over this line or whatever it is that they draw on the screen. When it's someone's shoulder or his ponytail or his fingernail, that can really sit badly with you. You can think, what's the player supposed to do? He can't control all of his limbs in the moment like that. But when it's your feet that are over the line, I think that's definitely the right call. And Allardyce can gripe about it as much as he wants. If that had been the other way round, if we'd have scored and had our goal taken off us for that, then I wouldn't have really complained. I would have been gutted, but I'd have thought, no, he's got that right there. If he's got the run on the player with his foot over the, then that's an advantage, isn't it? So,
yeah, I mean, I think Terry might beg to differ there.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't know. I think it's Arsene Wenger's got it right in the spirit of this. Said if the everyman can't explain the rules in the street to another everyman, then they're wrong. Like, you need to fix it. But it's worked in our favour there. Obviously, the VAR camera hasn't been. I don't even think it's. I mean, I watched it on Sky Sports. Did they show it like properly the line, or did they just measure? The referee measured it. Sorry, the linesman flagged it, and then they were measuring it, but it didn't show the full measurements on the replay. They just said, "Oh no, it's off."
No, it did show like a replay with like a yellow line and the guy's toes over it.
What's offside?
Yeah, it wasn't on the screen for very long. Yeah, it wasn't on the screen for more than a couple of seconds, but it showed like a yellow line where the last defender was. I think it was Keane, and it showed the blue line that was just over it. I think with whatever he's called, that lad who looks like Dennis Rodman playing up front for them. It was offside. That's just the look that you get when you're a team that looks destined for relegation.
That striker's a coke machine with legs, mate. He was just a nightmare all game.
A coke machine with legs. So.
Mate, he was.
Who is he? I'd never heard
of him either.
Got him from Turkey.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him before this. He looked like Lukaku.
He's from Turkey, and I'm telling you now, when West Brom go down, someone in the Premier League will come calling for him. He's a unit.
Oh, definitely. To be honest, Joe, we're looking for a backup for Calvert-Lewin. Would you have him?
Probably. How old is he?
Everyone's like, oh, such a person, like, oh, we're naming all these better players than him. And they're like, oh, he won't come, he won't be a backup. Like, we've got this conundrum. I'm pretty sure the bloke from relegated West Brom wouldn't turn his nose up at it.
Probably not even there permanently. He's probably on loan or something. But in any case, he's already got dark blue hair. Go over the street here.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Ronald Koeman's Red Christmas tree, innit? So,
now he put himself about an awful lot. He looks like a big physical tank, but I thought his ball control was terrible, and he should have done better with an header in the second half. I think it was during that little spell that they were dominating us for, where he ended up heading it over the bar, where he got too much of a connection on it. So I don't think he was absolutely brilliant. I just think he was a big physical truck of a player who a team like Allardyce is always going to find room for in his team. But maybe someone in the comments can tell us, but I don't think he's got many goals this season, and I'm not sure why. I think he's just a big battering ram.
That was his name. His name was Dianja, but Evan Koeman put Dianja's awful. We made him and West Brom look good, which we did. We were crap, let's be honest.
Yeah, we made.
I don't think they look good.
We made him particularly.
I don't think they look. I don't think they look good. I just think it was a very poor team against a team having a very poor night. We being the team having a very poor night, because I know Pickford pulled off that Walesy save and they had that chance where it flashed across the box, but at any point, did they really have us pending our own half for more than a couple, like 2 or 3 minutes at a time?
No, not
really.
Not a chance. I mean, they're not good enough.
No. I still think we edged the game, and we had 2 or 3 players who were having absolute nightmares, like Gomez and Iwobi. They absolutely stunk. And against better opposition, we'd have conceded 3 or 4 there, just because we were losing the midfield battle.
We did shade it in the end, but there was long spells where they were much better than us. But honestly, when Alan came on and we switched to that diamond, it just fixed everything. Like even Gomez started to get better at that point. I mean, in the first half, Gomez and Iwobi, Jesus, they were awful. Iwobi's. How can Iwobi look better than 3-minute cameo last week that he did in however long, an hour was he on in this game?
Yeah, I saw someone put the best tweet up I've ever seen. Where it was like, Iwobi is like a guy who brings something out the oven with a damp tea towel and is looking for somewhere to put it down.
He does.
The problem with Iwobi and Gomez as well, but more Iwobi, is he's just such a one-gear player, isn't he? He can't seem to have any agency. There was a bit in the first half, I think, when we were 2-on-2, and he was just almost walking with the ball. And you think, what are you doing? Just like drive at him. He's got to either bring you down or you'll go past him. That's all you've got to do.
He's a strong.
I think he was on the beach with his little kids.
Yeah, he's a strong, quick, skillful player. He just needs to apply himself.
Looks like he's took something out the oven.
I'm willing to forgive him because.
Go on.
I'm willing to forgive Iwobi because I do think he's done well over the past couple of months, and maybe that was just his first poor performance in quite a while. But oh my God, like I hope when they look at this game back in training tomorrow or whenever, he gets pulled and really rollicked for that, saying you've got to go through the gears quicker than that, because he just looked so one-paced all night, and Gomez is the same down there. It's like they just can't seem to pick up the pace at any point. They think they've got all the time in the world, and they haven't. West Brom are swarming all over us, and the pair of them are wanting to stop with the ball and have a look around like that. And you think, Jesus Christ, like the run's there, make the pass or take the chance, run yourself, take the ball down the line, especially Iwobi. And he just, oh my God, like he was really, really poor, and he really needs to be pulled by the coaches and told, you need to sort yourself out, because if you play like that, you don't belong anywhere near this team.
Definitely. Inky Squid's popped up and he said he scored against us in the 5-2 game, saying Dianga, but it's not. It's Diangana who scored against us in the 5-2 game, because West Brom are just like the entire squad's just like there to like create little names to trick you now. They've brought in a guy with more or less the same name, and the other guy's out injured, Diangana. So like the trickery there is like incredible. So I'm not surprised you're falling for that one. I think Schmidt also said at least we beat the team managed by the definition of obesity and obnoxiousness.
You know what, mate? I don't dislike Allardyce anywhere near as much as Terry does and lots of other supporters do. I mean, I don't like him, and I'm very, very glad that he was sent packing when he did. But oh my God, that tasted so sweet looking at him on the touchline there with Sammy Lee. The pair of them looking like they're just going to pop. Allardyce, I've never seen him that angry on the touchline, and he was especially angry because it was us. You know what it was? He just looked like he was going to rip someone's head off, what he wanted to. Because even little things, like I think there was a part in the game where Gomez controlled the ball with his hand. I mean, it was just like an incidental moment. Like it was right in the middle of the pitch. Like there was nothing on for West Brom. But Allardyce leapt out of his chair and started going absolutely ballistic at the fourth official.
I've never seen Allardyce so. I've never seen him so rattled.
It seems to have dawned on him that this job he's picked up is an absolute no-hoper. And I don't know why he was stupid enough to go there in the first place, because he's never gone down and he's probably never been in a situation like this where all the little things are going against you. Like it happens. That's what happens when you're managing a team that looks like there's just...
Are we here? Yeah, he'll cry off with a medical condition soon, won't he? And like preserve his precious record. That's why he goes on about Everton so much, because it damaged his brand. Like he did what he felt was a good job at Everton, and he still got sacked. So he goes on about it constantly, because not only does he want to keep reminding people that he finished 8th once, but he also wants to make out like, oh, it wasn't me that made me lose my job. It was Everton being unrealistic or being, arrogant to sort of like, it's just...
The thing is, West Ham and Newcastle said the same thing, and they're not as big a club as us, and they said the same thing. They weren't happy with what they were seeing.
His entire career, mate, is any club who is happy with anything, who wants to achieve anything more than staying up on goal difference, has bombed him. Any club who's got any ambition to do anything except just survive has bombed him. And that, so as much as he likes to pretend he'll be remembered as the survival man, fireman Sam, no, what he'll be remembered for is, secondly, backwards looking dour football that everyone hates and no supporters wanted at their club, and most importantly, sitting with a pint of wine, getting the wool pulled over his eyes. List.
Yeah, the job of his dream, he pitched up the wall with 1 pint of wine.
And he couldn't knock his school activities on the head when he got the biggest job of his career. Was trying to make money off it, and he got stung, and then he got launched from that as well.
Honest to God,
in the pub, we were getting to the semi-final in a World Cup, and he was sitting in a pub watching it, eating a Big Mac where he belongs.
Oh, honest to God.
The thing about Allardyce is, as I said, I don't hate him anywhere near as much as Terry, but you could just tell that was really hurting him, that, and just think, yeah, have a bit of that, you horrible, arrogant man. Trying to take credit for Unsworth's win against West Ham, Rooney's win against West Ham, you just sat in the stand like everyone else and making out like you took Everton from the bottom into the top half. It's like, mate, you took us from 13th to 8th, which I think the difference in points when the table finished that season, there was like 6-7 points between 8th and 15th. It was that tight a league.
Oh no, honestly, we were good way off the top 6. I think 7th were a good way ahead of us, and we just edged the rest of them. Like,
yeah, he managed us for 26 games. I looked this up earlier on. He won 10, lost 9, and drew 7, which is not like just not a terrible record, but it's no way near the record that he wants everyone to believe it is. That he was this manager who came in and did this really good job that loads of others wouldn't have been able to, and that he deserved longer to try and build a team. It's like, no, you just came in and you used your fat ass to plug a hole for a couple of months, and then you were paid handsomely and you were sent on your way. The lip of him today, he's wound me up today when he was saying he had no money to spend. It's like, mate, you spent nearly 50 million on 2 players who are not even here anymore because they're crap.
We've tried desperately to get shut off. Yeah. Bear in mind that Carlo Ancelotti has only spent this transfer window. Carlo Ancelotti only spent 10 million more than that to bring in 4 players who drastically improved the squad, all 4 of them.
Do you know what? I think that tonight he was getting so angry because I think tonight it's finally dawned on him that this, as Terry was saying, this sort of legacy that he's tried to build for himself as the fireman, the escape artist, he's finally realised tonight that it's going down the drain and there's nothing he can do about it because West Brom are doomed. There's no way they're surviving. And once they go down, he's got absolutely nothing to offer any club anymore or to offer the media. Is the one thing he's got to cling on to, that he's this sort of relegation battle expert.
Relegation battling guru kind of thing.
Yeah, that's gone. That's gone. Now, it's just a matter of time because you might as well just relegate West Brom now. So I'll call this now. I've said this in the chat and things like that, but there's no way he's still there at the end of the season. No way. He'll cry off with some sort of health condition. His doctors said that he can't be on the dugout anymore. He can't be on the touchline. He can't take training every day. He's got to retire for health reasons. And then he'll make out when he does the media work afterwards, when he goes on back on TalkSport and stuff, that he never actually has a relegation on his record because West Ham weren't mathematically relegated when he left the job. Like Kinnear did when he left Newcastle about 10 years ago. He tried to get off with the blame with that as well. So Allardyce is in the absolute mud. Everton are in the top 4, injected into me veins.
Absolutely. Inky Squid popped up again, just doing my English homework. I need to write synonyms for boring. So put down Allardyce, Silver, and Anfield's agenda. Honestly, honest to God, Inky Squid, I love having you in these chats, mate. It's been brilliant. Like, keep them coming, but unfortunately, he's also left the chat. So,
who at Anfield agenda is that stupid Irish fellow who sits at home, like doing a watch along?
The bald Irish guy, I think.
Oh. Yeah. That's not boring. That's just plain sad. That like, I get a laugh out of that.
You can never call him boring.
Yeah, but anyway, on the note of this is the part Paul isn't looking forward to. Steve says, "Sorry, Paul. Sigurdsson made the difference. Erwin Koeman, Sigurdsson changed the game for me. Give us the killer pass."
No, the right he did. Yeah, he came on and he made a difference. And he probably could make a difference over the course of a season. I've just ran out of patience with Sigurdsson a long, long time ago. I just thought there's been too many times that he's let us down as fans for me to stomach him anymore. But I'm not going to pretend he's played badly when the evidence is there to suggest he hasn't.
Yeah.
I'd have to go and apologise to our Icelandic stato after this.
He's still going. I blocked him 8 years.
He's still going. He's very much still going.
Fully still going. He's going faster than he was when you blocked him. I guarantee it.
I don't know. You haven't said it, to be honest.
I'd never crossed paths with him. I was aware of him, obviously, but never crossed paths with him until after the derby. And I put, if Sigurdsson's going to get a contract extension, today's the day to tell us because he'd scored the derby goal to win it. And then he replied and said, it's all in Sigurdsson's hands. He could walk away to a top Champions League club because we haven't delivered what we promised them. And I didn't do anything. I didn't start saying he's shit or anything like that. I just went, oh yeah, best watch out. Man City might come in for him, thinking, yeah, he's not walking out and going into a better team than Everton. And he gave me about 15 tweet long thread of reasons why Sigurdsson's amazing using stats from 3 years ago. And I
the stats don't lie.
Like fucking what? You know?
Is this what the is this Icelandic stat person, whoever he is he the same person as that Canon shaman that stormed the Capitol building? Just this absolute nutcase who believes in fantasy.
Oh, QAnon.
Is that it? I can't, yeah.
You know, I'd hazard to guess if you put those two together, you'd end up with Techno Viking.
Yeah, probably. I've never had any interaction with him at this point. Now I was like, oh, there we go. Like I knew what he did. Like, but at 15 or 12 or whatever, like a very long tweet thread of stats just off me laughing, saying, "Yeah, Man City are going to come in for him," and and I thought to myself, he must be on a wind up. It must be like someone else's Twitter, like burner account that he just does to like play a character. But he's been going ages. He can't possibly be.
And he's too clued up on stats to be like just a little wind-up account.
Yeah, it's not Cy Cuddy on the sly, just winding everyone up, is it?
He's clearly just mental. Offers Barnett.
Going on to the player performances, sorry, what did everyone think of Calvert-Lewin? Because he often puffed and he got up and won a lot of headers, but oh my God, how did he not bury that in the first half?
No, I was saying it's getting to he really needs to improve his 1v1 finishing. The way he's spared a few chances of that ilk in the last few weeks. I remember the Leeds game. I think there was one against Man U as well. It's getting to the point now where you'd feel more confident with Tony Abbott scoring a 1v1.
There was a stat that they read out at half time on Sky that I couldn't believe. Apparently, he hasn't scored a single goal all season yet from more than 9 yards out, which is mad. I mean, I love a slotter striker, a poacher, but I thought Calvert-Lewin had more ability than that because he's a big, strong athlete. He's not like he's Van Nistelrooy or Inzaghi, where he hasn't got the legs to get around and he just has to sit in the box and hope the ball lands to him. He can actually get around the pitch, and I think he does need to, as you said then, James, he needs to improve his conversion rate when he's got a goalkeeper to beat, because it's great getting all the tap-ins and being in the right areas, but there will be games where he's played through on goal and he's actually got to beat the last man or
he's got to make it himself, make the space for himself and bury it. Yeah,
exactly.
Don't agree. He is what he is. Van Nistelrooy missed chances sometimes. Kane misses chances. It just didn't have a good game. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think he's really good at what he does, and I think if another game where the team plays better, he gets more chances to slot, and just wasn't as nice. But that's the thing. Richarlison turns up. Richarlison had, in terms of goals, half a season off while Calvert-Lewin was banging them in, and they seem to have flipped a little bit now. So as long as one of them is, don't mind.
Yeah, it's the result that matters at the end of the day.
I think the defence was immense. Michael Keane, I wasn't always Michael Keane's biggest fan, and he's definitely got better under Ancelotti. But I wasn't necessarily part of this group of supporters who were saying he was the best player since Ancelotti came in. I thought people were going over the top a little bit with the praise for him, but the last couple of weeks, I'm really getting on board with him now, and I can see what everyone else can see. I just think he's become a proper leader now. He's like what Jagielka was. He organises that back four. He's not the best athlete in the back four. Yeah,
calms it down.
He's not the quickest in the back four. He's not the best athlete in the back four. Sorry, but he's the leader of the back four. He's the organiser. He's the voice. He's the one who tells everyone where to be, and he's the one who helps the younger lad next to him, and Godfrey, or when it's Holgate. I just thought the amount of times I saw him and talking to his teammates there, saying, "Come on, push out, like concentrate." I thought that was really, really good. So Michael Keane, I think, is definitely someone who we should be keeping around for a long time. I mean, I know we're not looking to sell him, but you'd always wonder if Godfrey's going to be the long-term centre-back, who's going to be paired with him? Is it going to be Mina? Is it going to be Keane? Is it going to be Holgate? I think it should definitely be Keane.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think I've gone on record to say that I think Keane and Godfrey would be the best pairing out of the four of them as the centre-halves. Tony Johnson says DTL should have scored, did work hard and held the ball, but he needs a goal to get back on his game. Erwin Koeman says he will be a beast and he'll come good. Tony Johnson again, shame that we haven't seen Dom and Richie both having great games at the same time. It's interesting, isn't it? Do you think the setup sort of takes away from one while the others are performing, maybe? Like maybe one gets marked so the other one thrives on being left alone a little bit?
No, I don't think it's related. Like, they can't both play well at the same time. I think Richarlison was playing wide left and it affected his goal out. He's been moved back up front now and we're playing a diamond, so he's scoring more. He's getting in more goal scoring positions. Look at his goals in the last two games. Two diagonal runs and with straight balls. One from James, one from Sigurdsson. If he's on the left wing, he doesn't go in. He doesn't make that run. Calvert-Lewin is suffering from the change of overall team style. When we were playing attacking football at the beginning of the season, we conceded a lot more, but we made a lot more chances. And Calvert-Lewin's missing James sometimes as well. The James to Dean into the DCL was like our special move. We did that about 3 or 4 games on the spin. So I just think it's two separate issues, and it's just a case of, honestly, the schedule. I think the amount of games, one after the other, we're having to rotate a lot. And when you're rotating your team a lot and going more defensive, then your number 9's going to struggle, because if he's a number 9 who finishes chances and doesn't create his own chances, we're not providing him with as many as we were.
You need service.
Yeah, but I think that'll steady itself out. Like, it's not like he can't score unless we're going full pelt attack, and he just doesn't score quite as regularly. But be fine. I think once we get back to normal, say for the schedule at least, or once we get a little bit more depth in the squad, I think he'll start becoming more consistent with his goal scoring. But right now he's going to have good spells and bad spells just by the nature of the team he's in, because he's affected a lot by who's in the team, rather than some players. It doesn't matter, they just do it for themselves. He's a symptom of how good the team is.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's the most important thing is whatever delivers us the results. Whoever gets the goals, as long as someone's getting goals and we're winning the games, that's literally just win the game at the end of the day.
Exactly.
What did you boys think of Bernard? Because I've been really critical of Bernard when I've been on the channel, but I thought he did okay tonight. He was getting slagged off a lot by that. Who was his name? Andy Hinchcliffe.
Andy Hinchcliffe, Jesus.
You wouldn't think he was an Everton player.
The most anti-Everton former Everton player I've ever heard in my life.
Mate, he was chatting absolute rubbish. He was talking about how Calvert-Lewin should have been sent off.
Calvert-Lewin should have been sent off for clashing with some, literally just a little bit of impact against somebody.
Yeah, and he proper went in hard on Gomez as well, because he had something similar. He just went in for a 50-50, and because the West Brom player fell down and screamed when there was nothing in it, he was talking about how Gomez should go up to the West Brom bench and apologise or something like that. I just thought, who is this idiot?
What is he? Hang on, Andy Hinchcliffe was playing in Everton's Dogs of War team. So when Joe Parkinson or Barry Orn clattered someone, did he tell him to go and apologise to the other players?
Just
needs to shut his gob in.
Yeah, but basically, getting back to the point that I was raising, he was slagging off Iwobi, which is right, he was terrible, but he was slagging off Bernard as well, saying that the two wide players were not getting involved anywhere near enough. I thought Bernard did okay. He didn't create any brilliant chances or anything. He didn't skin a player, but I thought he picked all the right passes. He wasn't sloppy in possession. He did, unlike Iwobi, he looked to get on the ball and dribble forward and try and draw a free kick or link up with somebody. And obviously it told, because he stay on. He came off for Josh King, did he, for the final 7 or 8 minutes?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he came off.
So he got 80 plus minutes in the bank, which shows clearly Ancelotti has got time for him. I was happy to wave him off back in January when it looked like he was going to that Saudi team, but obviously he stuck around, and I was wondering, I wonder what part he'll play over the rest of the season now. Will he just be someone off the bench, getting a couple of minutes here and there just to see out the games, or will he actually start some matches when we need him? And obviously, it's the latter, isn't it? Ancelotti's happy to rotate him, put him in the start lineup, and I thought he did all right, Bernard, tonight. So I'm slagged him off a lot, but as with Sigurdsson, I'm not going to pretend that he played badly when he never. I'll give him his credit when he deserves it. Yeah,
plenty of people in the chat have been bigging Gylfi up. Gylfi Sigurdsson, so much improvement, Mitchell Smith said. Sigurds a super sub. It's a good point. I think Sigurdsson's performances off the bench are often better than his starting performances.
Yeah.
He's like Gomez, and what I was touching on before, I just don't think he's got the legs to be bang at it for an hour plus in a game. They've only got one gear they can play in, and if they're not going to be allowed to take as many touches as they want and not have someone pressing them, then they're pretty much ineffective, especially when they play in further back. Gomez, when he plays as number 6 and he's getting pressed by their attackers, it's like he might as well not be there. And Gomez, I thought he was a very close second to Iwobi for worst player on the pitch tonight. He just lost the ball so many times in dangerous areas as well. There was a part, I think it was just before the end of the 90, he picked the ball up on the edge of our area and he turned.
Tried to run across the edge of the box. I saw that was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they got the ball down into the channel and threw a ball in, which thankfully we cleared. But I was ripping my hair out going, all you had to do then was oof that or pass it 10 yards to Calvert-Lewin in front of you. Whereas he tried to dribble with it. And he took an age as well, taking the ball under his control and turning and then picked the wrong choice trying to carry it forward himself. I just thought, oh my God, mate, like, how can you just be so off the pace?
Yeah,
neither Sigurdsson or Gomez, it has now become very apparent, can play in a two. Like, certainly not together, but like when even one of them, like, doesn't matter who's next to them, if they're in a two, they're awful. Sigurdsson and Gomez haven't got the positional sense, they haven't got the speed, the energy, they don't cover the ground enough to be in a two-man midfield. If they're part of a three, they cope. And their ability, their strong suit comes out. So Sigurdsson, when he's in the number 10, when he's got two players behind him, seems to do all right. Now, Gomez, not quite as a number 10, but when he's got other players around him who can basically do his defensive work for him, let's be honest, he's better than that. But when you've got injuries to Tom Davis and Alan's on the bench, neither of them are appropriate to be sitting alongside Decore. Decore can't do everything, you know what I mean? So if we were to get another proper, not a holding player, but a proper centre midfielder in the summer, that could help massively, because you could, rotate Gomez and Sigurdsson, either one of them in and out as it happens, or even if, whisper it quietly, John Philippe.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we writing Kabama off completely then?
Maybe next season, but I don't think this season.
I don't think we'll see him this season.
Do you know who Gomez reminds me of a lot? Do you remember that second season under Martinez where Gareth Barry would look absolutely amazing in the Europa League, but then he'd play in the Premier League and he just looked really old?
Yeah.
Do you know what you're
getting at?
Yeah, it was weird, like, because in the Europa League, you got that extra few seconds on the ball. So I think Gomez, if he is to, I mean, maybe we'll sell him in the summer if we get another player. You don't know, but if Gomez is going to be here for a good while longer, then I can see him still having his uses in the team. Iwobi as well. I think they'd have an absolute field day against some of these Euro trash teams in the Europa League group stage. I think they look like ballers in that, but when they're going to play against a high-energy team like West Brom, who basically they're fighting for their lives, they've got nothing to lose, their only chance is to just run and kick you and try and outwork you. I think that's not the game to be starting them in unless you've absolutely got to.
Oh, definitely.
Euro trash, what a programme that was.
Well, I love that.
It's just like weird softcore porn constantly on Channel 4 on a Friday.
Yeah, 3 points on the up. Jem says that's all I care about. He's not interested in Euro trash at all. And Coffee Blues John just said, put on the midfield who starts when all fit. It all depends on what system we use. I have a funny feeling that it will end up being a case of Decore, Alan, and Tom Davis as a three-pair. That's what I'd go with personally. But what about you guys, Paul?
I'd like to see that as well, but I just wonder how Davis and Alan get on in the same team. I mean, I think we tried it a little bit at the start of the season. There was a couple of games where we saw that, but who would be the sitter? Would Davis be the one who takes the ball off the back four and just does the little simple passes?
Yeah,
and Alan would play a bit further forward.
Press more.
Yeah, because Alan usually when he's been playing, he's been the number 6 like he was tonight. So it'd be interesting to see, but I wonder when they're both in the team what Ancelotti tells each one of them to do.
It'd be interesting. I mean, I think if in terms of the attacking, like if we have to go for someone else, I think I'd probably go with Sigurdsson over Gomez. In terms of, I think just more attacking output, as you've seen today, Sigurdsson comes on and gets an assist, and I just think Sigurdsson's assist rate is stronger than Gomez's. There's more chance of service, and we talk about Calvert-Lewin needing the service to get goals. We've got a better chance of that with Sigurdsson rather than Gomez, in my opinion.
I saw a tweet, I think it was Greg O'Keefe, who said, I wish Gomez had never scored that belter against Wolves because it was the biggest catfish ever, because he just never looks like scoring. He doesn't shoot enough, and when he does, it's usually a really weak effort like Osborne used to put in. And he never gets on the end of headers when it feels like everyone else in the team gets at least one a season from a set piece or something, just a ball into the box and it lands for him. This goal return as a centre midfielder, a supposedly creative centre midfielder, is just not good enough. So that's going to have to pick up. Or as we were saying then, he definitely doesn't get anywhere near our starting 11 when everyone's fit.
I think that's the thing. For whatever flaws Sigurdsson may have, he does get goals and he gets assists. Like he's come off the bench and got an assist. I think there's just a bit more, creativity there. I just think there's a bit more quality service into the penalty area. I think for whatever he's lacking, he can put a cross on someone's head like he did with Charleston today.
Yeah, if you're going to play in the centre of the pitch, if you're not going to get any assists or goals, then you need to be basically really, really good at intercepting the ball and tackling.
Working your socks off.
Yeah, and Gomez is not avid of that. It's like, what type of midfielder is he? Essentially, it seems like he does a little bit of everything, and he's not particularly good at any of it, except maybe he's tardy on the ball if you give him a bit of room. He doesn't do crunching tackles. He doesn't split defences open. He doesn't have shots from 30 yards that trouble goalkeepers. He doesn't link up with the midfielder next to him to play through a striker. It's just weird. It seems like he's caught in between what styles. Like we used to always say about Tom Davies. So you think, what type of midfielder does he actually want to be? What does the manager want him to be? What's he getting coached to be on the training ground? It's weird. And Gomez is an established international player who's played for Barcelona and been to tournaments and played in the Champions League. I don't know. I mean, when he was at Valencia, everyone knew what he was. And in that first season,
what was he at Valencia?
He was a number 8 who drove forward and got in the box, arrived late in the box and got assists and put one on the linked up, basically provided goals for the striker and chipped in with his own. A lot like Barkley used to be, just not the athlete that Barkley was. Whereas not strictly a number 10, but a player who would bring the ball into the final third and look to link up with somebody. And he doesn't do that at all for Everton, at least not for a long time, even before his injury.
Yeah, I mean, even before his injury, I think there was only like 2 assists and 1 goal or something like that in the first season.
I don't think he hasn't scored this season, has he? And
don't think he hasn't scored. He hasn't scored. I don't think he scored last season towards the end either. I think it was.
No. I know he missed a big chunk of last season, but I wonder how many goals he's gone with. He's gone without scoring. I think it's got to be at least 50.
No, well, it's getting on for it's over 2 years now since he last scored. Obviously, he's had a spell out with the ankle injury.
Yeah, but he's played a lot of games in that time. I mean, I know he gets the odd assist here and there, but it's not into double figures. I don't think it's anywhere near that. And there's no goals at all.
You're still talking there 18 months of football without scoring and probably only about 7 or 8 assists from a midfielder over that period of time. That's just not good enough.
No, not really. And as we were saying, if you're not that type of midfielder, you need to be a powerhouse, someone who's going to win the ball back and pass it on to the creative players, and he doesn't do that. So it's just weird. Andre Gomez, he's one of those other players where if we did move him on to make room for another midfielder we want to bring in, I wouldn't really have a problem with it.
Yeah, well, Semi-Charm Life has just popped up and said, you come on to it, lads. Gomez is really good enough for where we're going. And that's a good point. In terms of our aspirations, is Gomez going to cut the mustard? I don't think he is, personally. Like you say, he might be good for them Europa League games against, like, foreign sides who might give us a bit more time on the ball and, might be a bit more lacking in certain attributes. But he's certainly not cutting it in the Premier League, I don't think. And, I don't think he'll cut it at Champions League level either.
No, not for an English club anyway that wants to play like we do. I just think it's too fast for him and it's too physical for him. And even before his injury, I thought he was really, really struggling with it. So he's a confidence player and his head drops. And I just think if you're going to be playing for a club that wants to be in the Champions League, then you just need to be mentally stronger than what he seems to be.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Terry? Where do you stand on Andre Gomez?
I agree with you. I think if we get in the Europa League, he'll have his place. I think we've quite a few players are in that boat in our squad where they'll probably play more Europa League games than Premier League games because it'll suit them more, less physical, less fast, more technical. I don't think we'll be able to move him on. I think we've struggled to sell him at the best of times, never mind in a COVID sort of transfer market where, let's be honest, his numbers aren't like attractive to other clubs, are they? Assists and goals, the big numbers. He's got nothing, has he? He's very good at protecting the ball, as in like he's careful with the ball. His passing's really good. Not like he's physically protecting the ball like Alan does, but he looks after it. He's a very good passer of the ball. But is that worth having in the team? Like sometimes, yes. Like you say, who would you have in the midfield? We'll just do what we've been doing all season. We'll have Alan and Decore if they're fit, and then one of the other three, depending on the opposition. Some days it'll be Sigurdsson, some days it'll be James, some days it'll be Gomez, some days it'll be Davies. Now, the one we've seen the least of is Davies, because I don't think we've seen Alan, Decore and Davies as a three yet. But I think that would work quite well in this diamond we've got, but it is a question of who goes in the base of it, because I've been saying for a while, I'm not the only one, a few people have, but let's let Alan come out of the base of the diamond and let him go and press and run after the ball, let him go and cover the ground and have like another number 6 there. The way he played tonight, maybe not, maybe just let Alan stay there, and then Davies can do that. Davies can go next to him and free Decore up to go forward a little bit more, but I don't know. I think they've got their role in the squad. It's a shame that the injuries come when they do and who they come to, because we keep having to use Gomez and Sigurdsson as the second man in a 2, and neither of them suit it. Whereas Alan, Decore, and Davies are the sort of more reliable centre mid. They don't go off the boil anywhere near as much as the other two do. But at the minute, given the last few weeks we've had, you'd have to say Sigurdsson is ahead of Gomez in the pecking order at the minute, and James is above both of them put together, even if Sigurdsson is in good form. So if we get the Europa League, hopefully it's at least the Europa League at this point, or even that other Europa Conference League, whatever, European football. I think you'll see Gomez play a lot in that. I think you'll probably see Nkunku, like that. You'll see players who are like on the fringes of the first team, but either play a little bit like Gomez does in and out, or not play at all like Nkunku does. I think they'll deem the European games safer for them to be in, unless we get the Champions League, in which case they're that.
Yeah, the Champions League will pay to that. But on that note, James Barnes has popped up in the chat. He said, would you take an FA Cup win over playing in the Champions League?
All day.
No.
Paul says no.
I know I'm in the minority with that, and I'm absolutely desperate to win a trophy. But if we get in the Champions League, I think that just opens the gates for us as a football club. I think so much would come if we, the world's our oyster. If we get in that Champions League and we get in it properly and make a proper go of it, think of all the money it'll bring in, and it's like what City done. The trophies will come as being as long as you build a great team, then you will win trophies. You become a great team by being a very good team that gets into the Champions League, and then you get the resources to get even better. So I think it's one step at a time. Get into the Champions League, take in all the benefits that's going to bring, and we'll be able to improve our team to the point where they'll be too good not to win trophies consistently. It's happened with Liverpool. Look at Liverpool. Klopp got them into the Champions League.
They got top 4 before they got trophies.
Yeah, I think that it's the exact same model that we should be following. Build every season, bit by bit by bit. Get into the top, establish yourself as a top table club that gets into the Champions League regularly. You'll attract the best players to come to you. Everyone will think, yeah, that's a club that are going places. I want to go there and work with that manager and play in the Champions League regularly. And you'll just build a squad that's far too good to just not be getting to semi-finals and quarter-finals regularly. And you'll get through and you'll win one eventually. So exactly. I think this season, I think I'd take top 4, because I don't think we'll have a better shout at getting the top 4.
Yeah, and I understand that, but who's to say let's try for both? Why not? I think the point you've made there, that's excellent. Is obviously it isn't just a case of we get the top 4. We're getting the top 4 with Carlo Ancelotti as the manager, one of the best managers about. This is Carlo Ancelotti, who took over Everton with no European football at the start of the season and still attracted James Rodriguez. If he can do that, what can he attract as a manager, an elite manager with a club in the Champions League?
Exactly.
If you can manage getting James Rodriguez here, and Alania with no European football at all. Surely he can, work his magic again on another level with what we could maybe attract with Champions League football.
Yeah, if we get into the Champions League, we could end up not having not just a really good first 11, we could end up having a really world-class 15 or 16. I really do. And if you've got 15, 16 great players, then there's just no way you're not going to win a trophy as long as you take them seriously enough.
Yeah, definitely.
It's what City do. The squad is that strong as a result of being up near the top of the league every season, that even when they rotate now, they just breeze the way through the early rounds and always make... I can't remember last time City didn't make the semi-final of a domestic cup. Can you?
No, honestly. A few more questions now actually about building squads and maybe looking ahead. Do you think we'll sign a new midfielder for the new season? And what do you think we'll do with Moise Kean? I think Moise Kean will be sold Taylor, to be honest, mate. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he's going to be on his way, most likely to Paris. But I think his time at Everton's up. And I think it's for the best. I think we could easily end up doing what we've done with Ademola Lookman and taking him back when it's stopped high. He doesn't play well the next season, or he has a poor attitude like Lookman did. And then his stock falls and we end up selling him for less than we probably could have done the year before. I think, Moise Kean's doing well for a top club in a league where he's going to get game time and get goals because even though they're not top of the league, they're comfortably the best team in that league. He's going to get goals. He's going to keep his star rising, and that's going to keep his transfer fee rising as well. He's getting goals in the Champions League. We could make a lot of money, and again, having that extra money from Moise Kean, FFP restrictions will be lifted because the 2017 debacles off the books after next season. All that coming together along with some Champions League football could lead to the potential to make some very, very good investments for the club. I think Moise Kean, in my opinion, if the offer's there, I'd take the money, provided it's not a major loss on what we paid.
No, I agree with you 100%, mate. Moise Kean is not going to come back to Everton and be the player for Everton that he's being right now for Paris Saint-Germain. It's not going to happen because the league's completely different. He's playing with far better players for Paris Saint-Germain, and he just seems genuinely happier in himself. I don't really think he ever liked England, really. I mean, I know we all stuck up for him when the media started these stories about him having a bad attitude, and Souness and people like that were having a go at him, saying that if he's been sold by Juventus without a buyback clause, it must be because there's something wrong with him off the pitch. I know Evertonians back our own, but I just don't see him coming back and looking like he's going to be desperate to be part of us. I just don't think Everton was a good fit for him. So let's just shake his hand and move him on and take the money we can get.
Definitely. Blue Nose Dublin, this is a bit of an outlandish one. Inter Milan have missed the Lukaku payment. Could we tempt him back after selling him for 50 million? 50 million? Yeah, that's very ambitious. I mean, I think we'll make money on Keane, but 50 million is a bit too far. I don't think that's going to be the case.
Do you know what? I'd have Lukaku back. I'm not one of these where I'm thinking, he talked crap about us after he left. He shushed us when he scores for United. He's this, he's that. I'd have him back, but I don't think he'd come back to us because I just think he's too arrogant. I think if he came back to us, even if we were in the Champions League with Ancelotti, he'd view that as him stepping back down to Everton still, which is madness when you think about it. But it's just what he's like. He seems like he's got a massive ego, and I don't want that, really. I mean, I can put up with it if you're going to be Ronaldo or Messi and you're guaranteed to get us 25, 30 goals a season, which he could do if he came back. But I just think Lukaku's one of those fellas where if we did re-sign him, he'd act like he's doing us a favour by coming back, not us doing him a favour by bringing him back into the best league in the world with supporters who love him more than anyone else possibly could. So I would have him back, but I just don't think it's ever going to be in the cards.
Yeah, I think in hindsight with the whole Lukaku leaving thing, I think if I was in Lukaku's shoes, I'd have wanted to leave. Ronald Koeman was the manager. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. No wonder he didn't see the potential, because there probably wasn't the potential there that we have now.
And he looks like he's going to win the league with Inter Milan anyway. So it looks like he's found his home, doesn't it? I mean, Inter Milan are a great club, but and they're a bigger club than Everton. They've won European Cups. There's no beating around the bush. But when he went there from Man United, I thought that was basically him throwing in the towel a little bit. I thought, you're good enough to play for a top club in the Premier League. Why are you going to Italy? I know you'll score goals out there, but you're essentially doing what Moise Keane's done, going to Paris Saint-Germain. You're basically settling for an easy life at a club that isn't probably going to win anything because Juventus was so dominant. I just thought he's going up there. He's going to Inter Milan to be a big fish in a shallow pond, but they've got Conte there, and it looks like they're going to actually win the league this season. So
yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm absolutely buzzing if one of the Milan clubs does it at Juventus' expense. That it just makes for it's a much better story than Juventus win the league for the 10th year in a row or whatever.
Oh, no, I like Pirlo, mate. Can Pirlo win it this year? Then they can win it next season.
Fair play. But,
I love Pirlo.
Taylor Nardone said PSG could pay the money if Mbappe makes a move, but that is true. But is Mbappe going to move? We don't know. Another interesting one before we come towards the end now, but Blue Nose again, Dublin. Should we be looking at Barcelona for players in the summer as they're broke? If so, who could we get? I don't know, because who've Barcelona got that suits what we're building?
Who's really the right age there that they'd be willing to
That's
sell?
what I'm saying.
They've got a lot of players who are well into the 30s or players who are in their early 20s who look like they're going to be part of the future, who they're probably not going to be willing to sell to us. So they'll be looking to shift off the old players who are taking big wages, aren't they? And unless it's Messi, then I don't want any of their older stars, no matter how great they were.
Exactly, yeah.
They're all on mega money as well. That they can't shift them. Half of them would have been gone already, but they're all on like 150 at least. The smaller ones will be on 150 grand a week, and that's why you can't get rid of any of them, because no one's going to be paying the wages even before COVID, and especially not now. So Barca are stuck with all them until the contracts run out.
Koeman would probably slag us off anyway to them, wouldn't he? If
one
of those players, he got wind that Everton had bid for one of those players, he'd probably pull that player and say, "Oh, don't go there. They live in the past." Then
he won't be there in the summer, mate. Don't you worry.
Might be, because who else are they going to get? As you said, the flat broke, and all the managers they want, like Xavi, doesn't want anything to do with them until they get their house in order. So he might just stay there the same way some managers, the same way Hodgson kept his job after the World Cup debacle in 2014. No one worth a shite will take it. So they might as well just keep the fella they've got, because at least he's a club legend and the fans won't go mad at him.
Yeah, I think we'll just finish up by going back to obviously like at the present day, we're looking ahead to the summer and transfers and whatnot, but of course there's a lot more football to be played this season before we can think about what transfer business we're doing. We've got to just make sure we keep this up now, with consistency. That's how we're going to deliver a top 4 finish or even a top 6 finish and get into Europa or whatever. We're going to have to be consistent. And, the last 3 games have shown, we're starting to put a little bit of a run together. We've got to keep this going now. I think it's, we've got Chelsea next, tough game, big 6-pointer. It's crucial that we certainly don't lose that game.
Yeah, I think if we go to Chelsea away and we don't lose, then I'll really start to believe we can do this, because I think that's the way. Now that we've won at Anfield, I think that's the stadium we've got the worst record at in the Premier League. We haven't won there since 1994.
Even before we fixed the Anfield debacle, we had the best. Anfield was more recent than Stamford Bridge. We haven't won there since '94, I think.
Yeah, and that was the scene of one of Ancelotti's worst defeats there. It was the last game that fans were allowed to go to before the break for the pandemic. It was the 4-0 Tonkin, wasn't it? So if we can go to Stamford Bridge and take something away from them, then that will
put some off of that.
Yeah, exactly. You've worded it perfectly. That's when not only we can start to believe, but everyone else better start believing as well that Everton can, without a doubt, finish in the top 4, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, of course. Well, you're talking the top 4. Go on.
Got Allardyce's post-match quote here if you want it.
Oh, go on.
Finish.
Go on.
Everton are riding high apparently at the top of the league and created little or no chances tonight. The goal was only a half chance. I feel like it was netted in the 6-yard box. Then we scored. The goal was only a half chance. Then we scored a great goal and it was half a toenail offside. Yes.
get it injected into me vein of Carver.
You know what, Sam, mate? Go home to Lynn. Ask her to make you a big cauliflower and cheese with loads of chunky chips.
Bentos pie.
Yeah, loads of chunky chips, loads of gravy. Get yourself a big pint of wine. Get it all down, yeah, and make yourself feel better. And that's what you need tonight, mate, because you got beat by Everton, and it doesn't matter how shithousery it was. The fact of the matter is, you got 0 points. You're going down. Your legacy's going up down the toilet.
Yep.
Smell your ma, damn, smell your ma. Not asked.
There you go. Sam Allardyce has been seen off. Everton have got the win. Everton have got the win. They needed over Sam Allardyce. We've got one of the best managers in the league, one of the worst managers in the league, one of the biggest stains on our history. Is probably going to end as, like I say, legacy. He's going to get relegated, and all's pretty well. We've got 3 wins on the bounce, and I'll finish with this one final comment. Of course, Carlo Fantastico, Carlo Magnifico, Semi-Charm Life. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and thanks to everyone for tuning in and getting your comments in. Great, isn't it? 3 wins on the spin, no complaints, and Allardyce is losing it, and we're on the up. Just keep this going onwards and upwards.
And it's 0-0 at Anfield at half time, so that's going in our favour.
Oh, don't jinx it, Paul. Don't jinx it, Paul. Let that go too far, mate. But yeah, there you have it, guys. Keep your comms coming in after the games.
Is it?
Says who?
Chelsea, yeah.
Is it? I've got it on my telly, and I've been like,
it's half time, 1-0 up, Chelsea.
I didn't even know that. Like, it's got me telly here. That's why I've been looking up constantly. I mean, I've only been paying attention, mostly to you guys, obviously, but I thought it was 0-0. So I don't know whether to be happy now or not now.
I don't know. I could be singing the blues in 45 minutes, mate.
Maybe.
No complaints there. And we'll finish up with Eugene there. Up the toffees. No complaints. Keep your comments coming in, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching on the Toffee Blues.